And we are back with another Monday preview of the Hockey Princess podcast. I am your host, the Princess. Just as a reminder, make sure to hit that like and subscribe on either Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Amazon Music, however you watch or listen to us ramble on a weekly basis. If you are going to a game this year, be it the NHL, the AHL, the ECHL with our friends down in Indy, please wait for the whistle. Do not get up with the pucks in play. The bathroom will still be there. The food will still be there. Just wait a hot second. Let's get into our Monday preview, folks. We've got three teams that we are facing this week. We've got the Toronto Maple Leafs, the Boston Bruins, and the Winnipeg Jets. So, first off, with the Toronto Maple Leafs, as we've talked about on the show previously, they do have a new head coach, and it seems to be working out for them so far. They're currently sitting second in the Atlantic Division. Other big note for the Toronto Maple Leafs is that Austin Matthews is back in the lineup. He was out for a little bit, but now he's back. They are not playing a back-to-back prior to facing Chicago. They are facing Tampa on Saturday and then Chicago on Monday. So it's not super guaranteed in terms of which goaltender we'll get from Toronto. It could be Wall. It could be Stolars. We'll find out on Monday. Some other guys that are still on injured reserve for Toronto include Domi, McCann, Camp. As of the time and point that I am recording this, Ryan Reeves is still out on suspension. And then we've got Yarncroc. So a lot of guys that are still out for Toronto, but they still seem to be doing their Toronto thing, which we'll talk about at the end. For notable forwards, you've got the core four, which is your Mitch Marner, Austin Matthews, John Tavares, and William Nylander, as well as I would like to throw in a guy to take a look at during this matchup, and that's your Fraser Mitten, who is a new addition for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Very new. Has only played 3 games so far, but he already has a goal and an assist, and it seems like there's a lot of eyes on him in the Toronto world. So just take a look at him during the matchup. A guy to watch out for. Defensemen, we've got Oliver Ekman-Larsson, Chicago Blackhawk legend Jake McCabe, and Chris Tanev. And then, like I said before, the goaltending tandem is going to be Wall and Stolars. A new tandem for Toronto this year, but it seems to be working out quite well. And it's going to be working out quite well for them because this is Toronto. Toronto really doesn't struggle during the regular season. Their struggles come more at the end of the season and going into the postseason. So we shall see. This is going to start the theme for the week with the teams that we are playing. It could be a bloodbath, or it could be exactly like the Dallas game prior to Thanksgiving. Either or, I doubt it's in the middle. Next up, we've got the Boston Bruins, who do play a back-to-back prior to facing Chicago. So they played Montreal at home at the TD Garden the night before, and then they face Chicago. So I would imagine that Jeremy Swayman plays at home in Montreal, or not in Montreal, versus Montreal, and then we get Korpisalo in net versus Chicago. Currently, they are sitting fourth in the Atlantic, and I think that has a lot to do with the slump that they had at the beginning of the season. I don't know if it was, they just weren't meshing with this new lineup, or if the pressure and the drama from the Jeremy Swayman situation at the beginning of the season was really affecting the locker room culture. But they had a bit of a skid at the beginning of the season. They seem to be doing better now, so we shall see. Some injured reserves for Boston Bruins. We only have 2 with your Alec Regula and your Hampus Lindholm. Some notable players for Boston are going to include Pasternak, Marchand, Coyle, Elias Lindholm, and then on defense, you've got McAvoy and Zadorov. Like I said, they had a little bit of a slump at the beginning of the season, but now they seem to be on the up and up. Again, like with Toronto, and it will be the same with Winnipeg. It could be a bloodbath, or it could be like the one time where we beat them 6-0 and the 300 level started chanting overrated at the United Center. Either or. Who knows what game we're going to get. And finally, last but certainly not least, we've got the Winnipeg Jets, which, guys, this means that Connor Hellebuck is in the house. one of my personal favorite hockey players that is not a Blackhawk and that will probably never be a Blackhawk. Winnipeg Jets are on a hot streak the beginning of this season. Big surprise. A lot of people weren't expecting it. They're currently number one in the Central Division, and they are playing lights out. It's very exciting to watch because I think Winnipeg is sometimes the like forgotten team of Canada and the forgotten team of the Central Division, but they're on a bit of a hot streak right now, and it's really fun to see. For injured reserve, you've got Sandberg, Heinola, Stanley, and Ellers, but it looks like Stanley and Ellers are projected to be back in the lineup and off of IR before the matchup against Chicago. It looks like they're projected to come back probably right around the time that this episode drops. So we shall see. Some notable players that we have for Winnipeg is Scheifele, Connor, Ellers, Niederreiter on defense. You've got Morrissey and Coughlin, and then your goaltending tandem is Connor Hellebuck and Comrie. Also, Winnipeg is just kind of an interesting group because it seems like it's a lot of veteran players, it's a lot of older players. You've got either players that have been in Winnipeg for a while, like Morrissey, Scheifele, Hellebuck, who have kind of just played a significant period of time there, as well as new additions, but they're all a lot older. You don't really see a ton of new guys in Winnipeg right now. And it seems to be working for them. They are locked in on their style of game and what type of game they need to play to succeed. And it's just shown consistently since the start of the season that Winnipeg is not a team to forget. But that being said, the last time we faced the Winnipeg Jets, we were 64 seconds away from shutting them out. So it could be a very entertaining game or it could be a bloodbath. We don't know. We will find out on Saturday. So, like I said, we're facing Toronto, Boston, and Winnipeg this week. Should be very exciting. Like I said, just as a reminder, if you're going to any of these games, Toronto's away, but if you're going to the Boston game or the Winnipeg game, please wait for the whistle. Do not get up while the puck's in play. The bathroom will still be there, the food will still be there, and the beer will still be there. If you are looking for a really good place to go to before the game, Su Taqueria El Rey del Taco is over on Ogden, just a couple of blocks away from the United Center. Excellent food. Everyone there is absolutely lovely. Highly recommend it. That is all, and we will talk at you guys next episode.